Hey everyone, and just a reminder that call is recorded and we will have it available on our YouTube channel later, which kind of ties directly into one of the first things on the agenda. Still need to get a few more subscribers to our YouTube channel so we can get our custom URL, and then you can quickly and easily find all of our amazing content. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Shameless plug, shameless begging for that. So do check that out, please. And along those same lines, we were at, or some of the team was at the API Strat conference this week. And one of the awesome things that happened there was we had a great presentation from one of our developer advocates. It was really awesome because he pretty much went with like no slides, just very minimal slides. Definitely check that out. It is linked on our YouTube channel. There's a playlist for kind of like, you know, intro to Istio, what is Istio stuff. So I highly recommend checking that out because it is a really awesome video. I didn't even check it out now, Louis. No. Yeah, so give that a shot because that is a lot of fun. Was anybody at the conference this week? Guess not. All right. Well, if you weren't at that conference this week, we have a couple of events that are coming up in the Bay Area that are great opportunities to get hands-on with Istio, and I will put those links in the working doc. But a couple of ones that are coming up are there's Scale by the Bay, which is happening in San Francisco at our Google Launchpad space, and we have a workshop that's happening about gRPC and Istio on the 15th of November. And that same week, I know there's a couple of talks. I think, Louis, you're speaking at QCon. And there's also another, that same workshop is happening as well. So that's also in San Francisco, a couple of big conferences that are happening then. And if you're interested in attending at least the Scale by the Bay, we do have a discount code that I can I'll share in the working doc. I don't know about QCon if you've heard anything, Louis, but I will follow up with them as well and see if maybe they've got a discount code that we can share out with folks. So do check out that. And that is all on our Istio community calendar as well, which I will, again, put the link into. I'm just going to be link shill for like the next couple of months. But that way you'll get a notice of anything that is going on in the community overall. So that's a quick snapshot of upcoming community events. We want to move on to working group updates. Go for it.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Lini. So today I'm going to give an update on Istio security. So Istio security has three working groups: security policy, end user auth, and workload identities. I'm going to give updates from each of the working groups. On security policy side, we have ongoing efforts on both authentication policy and authorization policy. On authentication policy, DM is working on his proposal on per service auth enablement. The goal is to provide incremental mutual TLS adoption. And he has presented his proposal on the working group meeting. And Vincent also talked about his forward-looking thoughts on how Istio authentication policy should look like. On authorization part, I gave an update on the ongoing effort of converging Istio RBAC and Kubernetes RBAC. The goal is try to provide a single set of access control policy for both Istio and Kubernetes users. Here are some updates from the workload identity working group. The workload identity working group is working on prototyping node agent-based solution on Kubernetes for key and cert issuance for better security. Tom gave an introduction about the Istio node agent. And Saurabh give a demo on his prototype to secure communication channel between node agent and the workload using Unix domain socket. And finally, end user auth working group. We had our first meeting on end user auth working group. In the meeting, we identified the scopes of end user authentication. And Li Zhan presented his proposal on Istio end user per request authentication. And Manly presented a proposal on adding new auth attributes to Istio attribute vocabulary. Okay, here are all the updates on Istio security side.
Great. Any questions from anyone about this? Any questions about getting involved with any of the working groups?
We have detailed meeting notes posted on Istio security mailing list. And if you are interested, please also attend our working group meetings.
Great.
Links to those
I know we don't have
in community doc as well.
Yeah, that's the community doc.
I know we don't have it on the agenda, but are there any other of the working groups that want to give a quick update? He's got it.
Oh,
Yeah. I was gonna say, we've got some pointing going on. Trying to put somebody on the spot.
So we did kick off our environments working group, and we are going to be in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably have a demo on trying to connect two zones, Istio zones together, and we're going to be also giving pointers to the design docs and the requirements docs for this.
Right. Do you want to talk about GitHub?
Yes. So the status right now for the mono repo consolidation is that the 4 Go repos are now part of Istio. So that is a pilot, mixer, broker, and what used to be called auth, which is called security now. So that's all in. Everything builds, tests, unit tests pass, and integration tests kind of partially pass with some with a few failures. So I think we're going to need the rest of today and maybe a little bit of tomorrow for all the integration tests to pass, and then we can really open up business as usual. We probably don't want to get in. We don't want to check kind of unrelated code right now because the tests are not running. We don't know what can break, and also there is a little risk that if some other small change or even like a across the board change happens in the repository, everyone who submits a PR will have to go through rebase and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. You're still, people can still submit PRs. That's it.
Questions about that? All right, we give you our blind face. Fix it. Okay, that was all we had on the programmed agenda. Anyone here want to add anything before we turn it over to the folks on the call? Okay, cool. All right, so do you all have any questions from the community? Anything you want to talk about? Any questions you want to ask? Everyone's very confident in their
All right, I'll ask a question. This is Christian. How long does it take to do the builds in the mono repo net?
It takes a clean build, depending on the machine, it's like a 3 or 4 minute clean build. But once you have once Basil has everything downloaded and set up, It doesn't take that long. The clone of the repo is much smaller now. It's like, I think 8 megabytes or 9 megabytes thereabouts. And that came down from 120. So the clone should be quicker.
And also, if you build the entire Istio, don't download everything 3 times.
Correct.
So it's at least 3 times faster than before.
Awesome. Thank you.
For anybody that's new this week working on the project, want to say hi? Do we have any of the folks from Cisco on the line? I mean, we can totally see the list of participants.
We know you're out there.
We can just call people out.
I can say hello. I'm Vinay. I work with Google, and I'm interested in doing API management for Istio, kind of just ramping up and figuring out what it's all about.
Nice. I think we're planning to kick off a working group about API soon. So.
Yeah. I sent an email out last week. We got some interest, and so I had just emailed April and said, hey, I got to know what mechanically what do we do to get this thing started? Do we use Zoom? Do we use Hangouts? So watch the email list, and we'll send out a notification. It'll happen before the next one of these.
Hello, I guess I should not hide myself too much. I'm Vincent from Schlumberger. I'm interested in APIs and security. Dan knows how annoying I can be, so I'll be mute again.
Vincent, I'm surprised you're in the office. You weren't out partying last night, celebrating in the streets with the Astros?
That's okay. I was not born here.
Well, as a native Houstonian myself, it was kind of a big deal. Big night of phone calls and some crying people, and they were very into it.
Yeah, there was a lot of partying around my home. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm new, and can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
My name is Brooke. I work at a company called Turbine Labs, and I'm kind of just lurking right now. We do a lot of Envoy stuff at my company, and Istio is something that we're keeping an eye on, and I'm just trying to learn and watch. So.
Nice. Awesome.
Hey, Dan Wilson here with Concur. We've been playing around with Istio, trying to figure out how it can integrate well with the way we do our Kubernetes clusters, and I've been trying to contribute a little here and there where I can, where it makes sense. So just kind of lurking right now as well, figuring out what the best thing is to attack and understand it well enough.
Great. Yeah, I'd love to actually get your thoughts on, and that goes for everyone, but kind of how contributing is going for you and what we can do to make it easier. You know, I know there's, we've been running very fast and furious up until now, so we're trying to get those processes in place and learn from some of the other Google open source projects that have had some successes, and definitely want to get the feedback from you all who have been contributing or are interested in contributing, and feedback from the lurkers too. It's a good sign that you're unlurking, at least for a little while. But let us know, you know, kind of what tools you need and what things you'd be interested in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And April, this is Karthik. Just something to add there for what Dan said. I think with users, it's very often, you know, you sort of you chime in on the Istio users list when you have issues. But I think it's good to sort of start keeping track of users or people who are deploying Istio or looking at deploying Istio to just get general feedback, you know, what's working, what's not working, sort of design use cases, that sort of thing as well. So I know, for example, Dan, a number of the sort of working groups have documents talking about usage scenarios. So as you come across some of those and it doesn't calibrate with what you're using it with, or you have a different use case scenario, feel free to sort of chime in and highlight that.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up, because that's something we have talked about in other, I think like maybe a couple of meetings ago, and I've had some conversations with people separately where we have been talking about those use cases and, share those. Like we definitely want those. So if you've got some, send them our way, add them to the working groups, or if you're not sure where it should go, send it to the general distro. We'll find a home for it. But we definitely want to hear that from those of you that are users.
Yeah, everything I've run into so far, I've been able to see that it's on your roadmap already. Like some of the challenges, for example, multi-cluster. I think that is on the roadmap. That might be something that we could help out with, since it is a use case we have. So I appreciate all the documentation you guys have. I think you've done an excellent job with the project so far. It definitely helps when people are getting started.
Great.
If I see something that's missing, I'll definitely let you know or ask about it. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely, especially for those things that are on the roadmap. It's always great to hear, how that would actually impact how you're working. So definitely share that information.
I'd actually like to say something on the issue of seeing things that are missing. If you see something that we don't have documentation on, or that you'd like to learn how to do, I'm going to put in another plug for suggesting blog topics and or writing blogs. Put together a proposal template to make it easier for people to figure out kind of what they want to write about and how to make that work. There is a spreadsheet of ideas and volunteers. If you have an idea and you don't want to write it, that's fine. Just drop it in. If you see an idea and you want to write it, go ahead and claim it. Please make sure to add not just your name, but also your email address, so I don't have to guess and track you down like the dog that you may be. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to say on that.
Well, we know if you were in the doc, you're some sort of anonymous animal. So reveal your human form and let us know who you are. And to Nick's point as well, for the template that he shared, that is a really awesome template for writing a blog post. It's really helpful to kind of think through what your goal is and who your intended audience is. I know, personally speaking, from years of even professional blogging, it was usually just starting to type and not thinking much about the end result. So it was really great that Nick put that together for everybody to use. So definitely check that out. Even if you're not, doing an Istio blog, it could still be helpful, but you should totally do an Istio blog. Any other questions or anything else that somebody wants to share or talk about? Are we putting Doug on the spot? Oh, okay. Do you have anything else, or?
I have a quick question, I guess. I saw that there is an Istio Slack channel, but it looks like it's limited access right now. Are there any plans to open that up to a broader group, or is it maybe open and I'm just not aware?
I can speak to that a little bit. So far, the Slack channel has been for kind of Istio developer to developer collaboration on features. We're generally encouraging users to use the mailing lists because Slack is already an overwhelming source of information for us, and it's not a very good kind of historical context tool.
Yeah.
So we've been generally encouraging users to go to the email list to get support, and not to go to Slack, because Slack is even a mess for us right now.
There's definitely been a lot of interest from the community on having kind of that, interactive chat style for Istio. I would say one of the things that someone had suggested was maybe a Discord, or there's also Gitter. There's a couple of different options. Since this is an open source project, we want this community communication to happen in a venue that could live on, after we all win the lottery. I always try to use a very positive thing. And so it should be something that you, the community, can control and have ownership over versus us having ownership over it. So if there's that desire to have a venue like that, like I said, I've heard it from a couple of people. It sounds like it's growing more. Let's talk about what that should look like. Do people want Discord? Do they want Gitter? There's a lot of advantages to both. And then there's potentially something else out there that I'm not even aware of. So I would be happy to work with you on setting something up and getting that going. Because I know that's also a fun part of being in a project community is gotta have a place for the memes and the GIFs.
Right. So Dan, you had mentioned earlier that you were looking to help out, kind of either as kind of qualifying features or contributing to features. If you're contributing to features, you should definitely, then you're a developer, and you should go on the Slack. If it's qualifying features, I think we'd probably treat you more as a user and just make sure that we're getting to your stuff on the mailing list. At least until we figure something out.
Thank you. I'm probably a little bit of both, so I'll try to use the right forum for each, and appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is a topic of there will be a change coming. So welcome any feedback and thoughts about that. Link for networking working group. Does anybody have that on their hands that I can?
It should be on the working groups page on the site.
Yeah,
maybe you want to put that on the top of the doc.
Okay, it's always a tab. It's always a race for which GitHub tab that I have open.
Right.
I posted it to the notes.
Thank you. And also something to note that the working groups should have their own mailing list. So do join the mailing list of any of the working groups that you're interested in, and then you'll always get advance notice of everything. And I just, so Doug put the link in the working doc and I put it in the chat as well in Zoom. So. Any other questions from anybody? Okay. Just a quick kind of programming note. We will have our next meeting of this, broad community meeting in 2 weeks because, that is our cadence. But of course, the holidays are happening, at least here in the U.S. So there will be some lags in November, and then we will kind of evaluate from you all, what the level of engagement is and desire for meetings as the holidays pick up. So just something to be aware of when we talk, think of that cadence. Along with that, of course, that first week of December, the 5th is the KubeCon and Cloud Native Conf. Sorry, I know everybody calls it KubeCon, but there's actually more to it than that. So that is happening in Austin the first week of December. A large portion of the team is going to be there. There's a whole lot of great Istio content that's actually happening there. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. We'll also be having on the 5th, on the 5th, the day 0 of the conference, we'll have an Istio workshop in the morning, and we'll have an Istio set of sessions in the afternoon. So there's an opportunity to get a little more hands-on with Istio if you are attending that event. And that's a good segue for, we are going to be presenting Istio to the CNCF TOC meeting next Tuesday, the 7th. Those meetings are public, and I think that's one of the GitHub links that I have open. So I will put that link in the doc for you all if you're interested to join. It happens at 8 a.m. Pacific time, but that is a presentation about Istio to CNCF. Do Louis or Sven, do you guys want to talk more about it, or?
I mean, it's always been a long-term goal of the project to have Istio become part of the CNCF. So this is part of the process for that. So yeah, here we'll present primarily to the TOC committee, ask questions, and all things going well, hopefully that should clear the way for Istio to become part of the CNCF.
Nothing else to add.
Hopefully very soon.
We'd love to make an announcement at QCon.
I just put the link in the chat for that meeting, or for the information about that meeting, and I'll add it to the working group as well. I mean, the working doc as well. So if you are interested to listen in, please do join it. And then we had one question about, but it looks like Lynn responded to that one. So thank you, Lynn. Anything else? Last call for questions or items.
Hi, this is Srihar from CNCF speaking. If you don't know me, I'm a developer advocate for CNCF, and if you've been discussing the TOC stuff, so I would strongly recommend you to subscribe to the mailing list. All the information is available on GitHub, as April and Lynn have shared. So also in the mailing list, we'll share the meeting notes with the slides in a few days before the TOC meeting will happen next week. So please follow them, and yeah, I hope to see you next Tuesday at the project presentations TOC call.
Yeah, thanks for saying hi to everybody. All right, well, it looks to be the end, so everybody gets 30 minutes back in their day to spend on, you know, something with Istio, of course. And if you've got any questions or anything else that comes up before our next meeting, toss it in the working doc or send it out to the mailing list, and we will make sure that we get some eyes on it. Otherwise, thank you all so much for joining us, and we will talk again in a couple of weeks. Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.